Let's talk about male privilege. Like, I don't talk about this every single time, but I think it needs its own episode at this point because I got this message on Instagram, and this message was in response to a TikTok I posted about the unfortunate death of an influencer who was unalived on a live stream in Mexico. Yeah, a TikTok influencer died on her own live stream. And what did she die of? She died of a man. A man took her life. Because why? Men are very bad people. That's why. So, in response to that video I posted of the news article, someone said, one thing I realized recently is that a lot of men don't think RAPE is actually that bad because they view sex as purely pleasurable, a positive thing only in life. They simply can't relate. Male privilege teaches them that they are superior and have the right to get what they want in life. The combination is dangerous. Also, thank you. You have opened my eyes so much to the injustice. I can't even watch a rom-com without getting mad anymore, as the guy always cheats and then makes the tiniest effort, like playing with their kid, and then she swoons and he's back in. What about the real work? Like driving the kid to school, making lunch, paying bills, bathing the kids, tucking them in, cleaning, tidying, food shopping. It's infuriating seeing such low ball effort get such high reward. And we're taught that's the standard? No, thank you. But thank you. You are protecting so many women. The reason why this message felt really important for me to read was that part of the message where she's talking about rom-coms and how in the rom-com the storyline entails a man cheating and then all he has to do is interact with his child and the woman is like, oh, I forgive him. Oh, it's so sweet watching him be a father. Oh. Like, is that really all it takes? This is what I don't like as well. When people say, he's a terrible husband, but he's such a good father. Huh? I need to understand how that works. How is he a terrible husband, but a good father? A terrible husband can't be a good father. Because a terrible husband is creating stress for the mother of the child. If the mother of the child is stressed, that's not a safe or harmonious atmosphere for the child. And the role of a good father is to maintain that safety and harmony. I do understand what people mean when they say it though, because I have seen men treat their children with kindness and care when it's their allocated time to have custody of the children, but they don't see eye to eye with the child's mum. And I just think that's such an interesting, weird situation. And I think that it is under the umbrella of male privilege because you have the privilege of not having to be the primary parent. You have the privilege of not having to carry that child for 9 months, almost even 10 months for some people. You have the privilege of not having to go through the traumatic event of childbirth, which is the case for most people who give birth. You have the privilege of not being the person whose nipples have to fall off for a whole year when that child is newly born. You have the privilege of not having to deal with the fluctuation of hormones when pregnant and post-pregnancy, plus also still having a period. You have the privilege of not having to do the majority of the primary caregiving. So, of course, you can be the fun parent who has the emotional availability to be charming with your child, to be emotionally present with your child, to be the parent that your child really wants to go stay with because you can play when you're at dad's house. Yeah, of course you can play when you're at dad's house because dad is a part-time parent. Like, parent is not his main identity. Whereas for the mother, that's that's the bulk of her life. And in the earlier portion of that message that I received, that I just read out, there was the mention of how men don't see rape as this bad thing because they think that sex is pleasurable. So it can't really be that bad. Because that's how they see sex, right? And that's why they're raping people, because they want to be stealing pleasure from women's bodies. This is one of the many reasons why I think men are awful people. And I don't care to nuanceify it. I don't care to add the disclaimer that some, not all. I actually don't care about that disclaimer because there are enough awful men for it to be that men are awful enough that they've not made it their problem to eradicate the awfulness. That means men are awful people. I don't care that you know nice men. I know nice men. I know lovely men. I know great men. Some of the men that I'm closest to, such sweet people. But men are still awful people. And they hear me say this all the time. They hear me call men awful people all the time. And they don't have the nerve to disagree because they know it's true. Men are vile pigs. I think this should be an episode that's just straight up misandry from beginning to end. Should we do that? I think that'll be very healing for some people who need it, especially those who have survived sexual assaults. Just want to shout out to the women who have survived sexual assault at the hands of men. If you need an episode of men being straight cussed out, this is going to be the episode for you. Because I would do this anyway. I do this in my spare time. Sometimes I get paid for it. I love cussing men out. I think men are terrible people. I think men as a concept, terrible. I think that men deserve to be grilled every single day. I think that men deserve their loneliness. I think that we should be making the male loneliness epidemic worse. Yeah, because when men say male loneliness epidemic, what they mean is men are not having sex enough epidemic. That's what it means. They're not lacking in people to talk to. They have PlayStation Network. You can talk to your friends when you're playing Call of Duty. I see it all the time. When they're busy ghosting you guys and not communicating. Why is my boyfriend not talking to me? Because he's talking to other men on PlayStation. That's why. He's pressing Call of Duty. They're not lonely. It's a lie. Who do you mean male loneliness? That's a lie, girl. How can they be lonely? They got Fortnite. They got Call of Duty, they got Fortnite, they got FIFA. That's not lonely. Yeah. I love diluting men's problems. See how it feels? It's not nice, is it? It's not nice, is it? No. But this is what they do to us. So I'm doing it back to them. 2 wrongs that make a right. I don't care. 2 wrongs that make a right. I don't care. I care about making it right for me. Yeah. Yeah. There's not enough misandry in this world. We need to bring back misandry. Yeah. How many men have you met that have died from misandry? Tell me. Show me the article. Let me see if I can find an article of a man that died from misandry. Let's see. We need that because, okay, man dies of misandry. Where is it? Where is the... There's no article coming up. See? No man has died of misandry. In fact, what did come up was an article from The Guardian, 17th of October 2018, written by Jessica Eaton, Jessica Eaton said, making misandry a hate crime will embolden abusive men. Exactly, Jessica. The first line of the article says, the concept of misandry is dangerously vague in comparison to the reality of misogyny. Exactly, Jessica Eaton. You better eat. Yeah, anyway, show me a man that's died of misandry and then maybe I'll rethink about misandry. But until a man dies of misandry, I'm going to keep on ramping it up. Ramp it up. Ramp it up. Ramp it up. Ramp it up. Do you know what's interesting? People have tried to do this gotcha moment to me when they've interviewed me and they've asked me the direct question, so do you hate men? They're hoping I'll be like, no. Do you hate men? Yes, I hate men. Absolutely, I hate men because men hate me. I hate men so bad. Have you seen what they do to women? They pour acid on women who reject their advances. Men marry children. Men are killing girl babies for being born as girls. Men are murdering women because they felt like it. Men are watching pornography of children. Men are creating laws that stop women from having reproductive control over their own bodies. I hate men. I hate men. Because men hate me. So much so that they would rather see a world where I would die just so that they don't have to hold themselves accountable. I hate men. Yeah, I said it. I hate men. I hate men. Do you know what? This feels really good to say. This reminds me of, you know, when parents put their iPhone on the table and they open the front camera and they set it on video recording mode and they say to their 3-year-old, you are allowed to say lots and lots of bad words. Okay, mommy's going to go away for 5 minutes and you have 5 minutes to say bad words, okay? I can't hear you because I'm going to be far away, but I'm going to give you 5 minutes to say all the bad words you want to say. And then the mum shuts the door and then the kid is at the camera like, fuck, 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 shit, poo-poo head, fuck, fuck, fuck. It's like, where did you learn these words? But that's the equivalent of what I'm doing. I'm doing this for the women who have survived rape. I'm doing this for the women who have survived attempts on their life being taken by men. I'm doing this for the women who have had men use the legal system to abuse them. I'm doing this for the women who have had men physically mutilate them and get away with it. Yeah. So I say I hate men for all the women who can't say that they hate men because they're going to get vilified on the internet. They're going to lose out on work. They're going to lose out on opportunities because it's worse for a woman to say that she hates men than it is for a man to actually act on his hate for women by killing women. That's where we are, by the way. That's where the world is. Do you know that I lost out on work from saying I hate men in the past? And I think that that's so interesting because what happened was in 2019, this was during the World Cup, and The Independent released an article saying that during England World Cup matches, domestic violence increases by 41%. That means that when England loses the World Cup games, the football, the little ball kicking games that they're playing, women are receiving increased beatings by 41%. That is a recorded statistic. That's what they were able to even record. Think about the cases that go unrecorded, unreported. So when that article came out, it was getting shared a lot online. Shared so much so that I saw it. So I quote tweeted the article and I said, men need to be euthanized. And everyone was like, oh my God, did you just say that men should die? What did you say? What? You saying that men should die? Yeah, I know men are killing women, but are you saying men should die? That's really bad. Oh my God, that's hate speech. What did you just say? That's a terrible thing to say. I can't believe you said that. Yeah, I know that global statistics point to men being the biggest killer of women, but you shouldn't say that men should die. And you know what? Guess how many men died from me saying that men should die? Just take a wild guess. Go on. Just take a wild guess quickly. Quick. Guess. How many died? That's right. You guessed it. Zero. Zero. Now, should we do a quick Google of how many women die per minute at the hands of men? Let's do a Google search. How many women die per minute by men? The data shows, and this is from United Nations, the data shows that 140 women and girls die every day at the hands of their partner or a close relative, which means one woman or girl is killed every 10 minutes. In 2023, Africa recorded the highest rates of intimate partner and family-related femicide, followed by the Americas and then by Oceania. This is an article from 2024, 25th of November. So when they're talking about male loneliness epidemic, good. Actually, very good. Very, very, very good. Leave us alone. We don't want to talk to you. Go and press PlayStation. Male loneliness. Why don't you join a knitting club? Male loneliness. Why don't you join a pottery club? Male loneliness. Why don't you go and start pole dancing? Male loneliness. Why don't you go do some yoga, man? Male loneliness. Why is that our problem? Find a hobby. And I know that someone will say to me, but do you really think that that should be the solution then? That we should just be mean to men? Yes, actually. Because tell me what the niceness has done. Tell me what the niceness has done. Let me find that gang of Pakistani women who are beating up rapists. Hold on. Pakistani woman gang rapists. Oh, this is so hard to... Do you know what's so interesting? I Google searched Pakistani woman gang rapists, hoping that it will bring up an article that has those keywords, because I saw a gang of Pakistani women who beat up rapists. They used baseball bats. And what came up is an Al Jazeera article that says, outrage in Pakistan after woman gang raped on moving train. I wish I could make this shit up. Where do you see an article that says outrage in Pakistan over man gang raped on moving train? Where are you seeing women gang raping men? Quickly, answer quickly. Quickly. Let me see. Where are you seeing an epidemic of violence against men? I'm not talking about the negligible exceptional cases. Because remember, there are women who abuse men too. There are women who abuse children too. And at the same time, the staggering statistics point that men make up the bulk of those abuse statistics. Where are you seeing men fearing for their lives? Do you know that it's so bad in India that they have made women-only trains? And men have still found a way to infiltrate. That's very fucked up. Now, the reason why I believe feminism isn't going anywhere is because people are scared to say the stuff I'm saying right now. Because the idea of wishing violence on the people who enact violence on you is seen as the violence itself. And that violence is weighed in as equal to the violence that's costing you your life. You that's listening to this podcast right now, more than likely you're a woman. There is a strong chance that you are listening to this and feeling very uncomfortable because you probably have a brother or a son. Guess what? Every single man on this planet that rapes and murders a woman is someone's son. At some point, he was her sweet son who can't really do any wrong. I mean, he's 8 years old. He's sweet. He's cute. He's a mommy's boy. He loves his sister. He plays with dolls even. He's not inclined to violence. He's literally a fan of Miss Rachel and Bluey. How on earth is he going to grow up to be someone that assaults women? You will be very surprised, because what happens is you give birth well-meaningly to a son. You do everything in your power to raise him with values that reflect an attitude towards women that's rooted in respect. And you display that respect in the home. That young boy sees his father respecting his mother. That young boy is surrounded by aunties and uncles and community who exemplify good manners, good values, respect of women. He sees it. You've done everything you can to create that ecosystem. Everything you can. That's the key word though. Everything you can. And then what happens? He turns 13 and he begs, please, 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 for my birthday, please, 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 I want an iPhone. Please, all my friends at school have one. And you're hesitant because you know that smartphones today are not what smartphones were in 2008. But you cave in. You get him a smartphone. You put parental lock on it though. You do everything you can. He finds a way to still bypass the parental lock. And then what happens? He starts to make friends at school and online with boys who unfortunately did not have the upbringing that your son had. These boys have been exposed to violence at home. These boys have been exposed to inappropriate images that they were not supposed to see at such a young age. These boys do not have parental lock on their phone. These boys have access to people like Andrew Tate. These boys are seeing porn online. And it's not the porn where it's like wholesome, intimate, loving couples porn, which is out there, but it's not as common and popular as the stuff that gets circulated online, where it's women being mistreated by men, where it's women being objectified, where men are viewed and positioned in the porn as those doing the sex, and women are viewed and positioned as those who the sex is happening to. That's what these 13-year-old boys are seeing. And your sweet, innocent son, who you've raised so well-meaningly, is hanging around with those boys. He wants their validation because they're the cool kids. Because that's what happens when you're a kid. You want to be around the people that have the highest social rep so that you can feel like you're a part of something. And then slowly, it becomes normal for him to call girls bitches, for him to be mean to girls, for him to start repeating the messaging that he's seen from people like Andrew Tate. And your sweet innocent son, before you know it, he's tainted. You did everything you could. You did everything in your power. But remember, this is not an isolated job. You could do everything you can, and your son will still turn out to be a misogynist. Now, that 13-year-old boy who has now been influenced by his male friends, he grows into a 21-year-old who thinks it's okay to date rape girls at parties, who thinks it's okay to coerce women into having sex with him, who thinks it's okay to date 16-year-olds. Because remember, he already has the belief system that he's supposed to subdue women and that women should be sexually available to him, because that's what he was hearing from when he was 13. Now your 21-year-old son, who's date raping women and coercing women into having sex with him, has grown into a 30-year-old who's an absolutely insufferable piece of shit. And now he's one of the men online crying about the male loneliness. Your 30-year-old son is one of the men online in my notifications talking about this is so evil to men that women are saying that we need to leave men behind and we need to focus on ourselves. That's so evil. What about love? That's what your 30-year-old son is now doing. That same 8-year-old who you raised with such pure, sweet intention, this is what he's become. You did everything you could though, because remember, it's not your fault. Yes, I believe that women have a responsibility to be conscious of the environment that they're raising their sons in, but you could do the best job and society will stain him. That's what's so fucked up about all of this. It's a collective communal job, guys. That's why I say fuck men, because that's what they're doing to young boys. Men are not taking up the responsibility of showing up and rectifying the damage they've done. Men owe men better examples of manhood. That's not women's job. We cannot create an example of manhood that does not exist. We cannot keep on basing good manhood on hypothesis because we cannot point to the examples in real life. Where are the examples? They're not there. So that's why I hate men. And that's why if I have a son, people have said to me, what if you have a son one day? Well, first of all, I don't know if I'm going to have children because I don't know if I want children. And if at all I decide I'm going to have children and I have a son, God, please let him be gay. Please, God, please. I want a gay son. I'm saying this now. God, I'm saying this, and I'm saying this in front of witnesses who are listening to this podcast. God, I'm begging. If you choose to give me a son, please give me a gay son. Please give me a gay son. I am begging you, God. Amen. Thank you. That's all I ask. I'm never going to tell you what to do, God. All I'm going to say is if you give me a son, please let him be gay. Please. And I'm not saying this because gay men are absolved of misogyny. No. Because one thing I cannot stand is a white man who takes on a black woman's personality. That's a whole nother conversation. What I am saying is I understand that gay men can also reinforce misogyny. And at the same time, the people who reinforce the most misogyny, the people who pose the most danger to a woman's life, it's not gay men. I experience so much solidarity and community with gay men because they also experience the downfalls of being around men too. Homophobia affects gay men in a way that is extremely violent because at its core, men as a concept are extremely violent towards what they cannot control or understand. That's why they're violent towards women. They cannot control us. That's why they're violent towards gay men. They cannot understand gay men. They fear gay as a concept. They actually despise femininity, especially when a man is expressing femininity. So I resonate more with gay men than I do with straight men. And I've experienced so much more allyship from gay men than I ever have from straight men. I would love, oh my God, having a gay son would be such a beautiful experience because I find that gay people, whether they're men, whether they're women, there's a different kind of capacity for love that they have that I find so beautiful. And I also think they're just spectacular beings. And that's not even to sensationalize them or fetishize them. I just mean that gay people are such beautiful beings and they deserve to be loved. And I would love to have a gay son. But yeah, it's not the gotcha moment you think is when you're saying, ha, you're going to have a gay son one day. Thank you. God, please. I would love that. But what I'm saying is when it comes to male privilege, I just think that it's interesting when people talk about race, right? People say, well, what about black men? What about them? Because, of course, it could be argued, rightfully so, that black men do not have racial privilege, meaning that black men still, just as much as black women, experience the effects of racism, which affects them socioeconomically. Of course. Now, what's interesting about how black men express their discomfort about being socioeconomically disadvantaged is they punch down on black women. They just reinforce and re-exert and redirect their oppression to black women. I received the most abuse online from black men. I think it's interesting because black men are the people that I am in community with by default of skin, by default of culture, by default of the country I'm from, right? And at the same time, I don't know if I'm going to see myself long term being partnered with a black man because the ways that I see black men threatened by black women is different to the ways that I see white men be threatened by black women. Remember, all men have equal capacity to be evil. It's just that they go about their evils differently and they have different percentages of evil in them. And I'm not saying that white men are any better because you're going to have to pick between racism or intracommunal violence. When you're a black woman, that's what you're picking between. Do I want the devil I know or the devil I don't know? Would I rather a man who I'm in community with to abuse me, or would I rather a foreign white man to abuse me? Which one am I going to pick? That's what it's like being a black woman and choosing to date men. So that's why when you're a black woman dating men, you can't just date for racial solidarity. I think that's really stupid because black men are not in racial solidarity with black women. If black men were in racial solidarity with black women, the world would look very different. You know why? Because I see a lot of this on the internet where black men, they're the ones that like to date white women. Majority of them, their preference is based on their dislike for black women. You ask black men, why do you like to date white women? Oh, because black women. No, no, no. I asked you, why do you like to date white women? Because black women are ugly. No, no, no. I'm saying, why do you prefer white women? And the first thing you say is because black women. So you like white women because you don't like black women. Is that what this is about? So this is about black women and your hate for them. This is not about you in an isolated way, just saying, I really appreciate white women. You know, I like the food that tastes like it has no seasoning in it. You know, I like the, what can I say? I'm trying to think of positive things to say about the people who made up 40% of slave owners. I don't know, guys. You're going to have to help me with this one. Fill in the blanks. Positive things to say about white women. Because all that's coming to mind for me is they made up 40% of slave owners. That's real facts. You can Google that, actually. And they're the same women who be getting black men incarcerated. Anyway, that's their preference, though, so they can have each other. One thing about me, I'm never going to go out of my way to cape for black men. I used to do that, and I found that that's not working because these same black men are the ones who will throw me under the bus at any given opportunity to choose a white woman, so they can have each other. What I'm saying is, as long as you are dating men, you will be encountering some sort of evil. That's why my praxis always leads back to pick the best man based on what's available to you. Pick the best money. Pick the one that likes you the most, preferably more than you like him. Pick the one that is committed to ensuring you have a stable and safe future with everything he has, his time, his resources, his desire, everything. Pick the one who will pour more into you than you pour into him. You're not here to pour into men, you're here to receive. But this conversation of male privilege, it gets me hot, man. It gets me real hot because what I'm seeing that's happening is we're so worried about why men are killing women. We're not focusing on the fact that women are losing their lives. We're focused on, yeah, but he was really sad and that's why he did that. He was really upset by the way that she spoke to him and that's why he did that. So we need to help men with their mental health. Who is we? Who is we? Why do we need to help men with their mental health? Why can't they do that by themselves? Because you know what's so fascinating? Women, despite being killed and hunted for sport by men, we're still able to deal with everything by ourselves. We're still able to find employment. We're still able to be the main providers for ourselves and for a lot of women, for their husbands too. We're still able to keep our emotions under control. We're not out here picking up rifles and shooting up buildings because we've had enough of the misogyny. Who makes up the main percentage of school shooters? Is it women? Who are the people shooting up schools? Answer quickly. Who is it? There you go. It's men. And when these school shooters are spoken about, 9 times out of 10, the article will point to, he was sad and he was lonely. He was introverted. He was radicalized online. Okay, so how come women are not being radicalized online to do the same to men? That's crazy because women are being hunted for sports by men. And you're not seeing women radicalizing each other into killing men back. You're not seeing that. And I would never advocate for that. It's never been my message. I've never said women should kill men back. I'm not going to say that. What I will say is that men deserve to be ignored out of existence. I think men deserve to be starved of sex from women. I don't think they deserve sex. Because that is the main thing they want from us. Do you know that if men could recreate the experience of having sex with us, they would have killed all of us by now? The only reason why they haven't completely gotten rid of us is because they need us for sex. Do you know that? I don't think you know. Men are not good people. So I'm not here to try and reason with why men are killing women. I'm concerned about the fact that they're killing women to begin with, because if anybody has reason to be killing anybody, it's women. But you don't see us doing that. We will always find an alternative outlet to respond to gender-based violence before we kill men. So why can't men do the same? Mind you, men are not experiencing gender-based violence. There is no system in place in the world where men are oppressed systemically by women. There is nowhere in the world where a boy child is being forced to marry women who are adults. Where? Show me where. Quickly, show me where. There is no country in the world where women are enforcing legislation that legally stops men from having reproductive rights over their own bodies. Show me where. Show me where. There is nowhere in the world that men feel anxious to go partying and having to watch their drink 24/7 if they need to go to the toilet because they're going to get spiked by a woman and end up being gang raped by women. Where? Show me where. Show me where. Exactly. So when I say I hate men, I mean that with my chest. I mean that with both 32G breasts. I mean it very much so. I really do mean it when I say I hate men. I hate men because they hate me. I hate men because they kill women. I hate men because they marry children. I hate men because they create legislation that stops women from having reproductive rights over their own bodies in a world where women would never do that to men. I hate men so much. And it feels very healing to say that, because people don't like it when women hate their oppressors. What people want is when they ask a woman like myself, do you hate men? They want us to talk around it and say, well, it's not all men. No, I hate men, actually. I hate men as a concept because they're not doing anything about the gender-based violence that women are facing. They're all just kind of being like, oh, that sounds really terrible. Well, I wouldn't do that to you. That's great that you wouldn't do that to me. But what are you doing about the men who are doing it to women? What are you doing about that? How are you giving up your time? How are you giving up your comfort? How are you giving up your convenience to end gender-based violence once and for all? What are you doing about it other than sleeping and pressing PlayStation and scratching your bum and telling us, well, it's not that bad because I haven't killed you? What are you doing about it? Nothing. That's why I hate you. But you should consider yourself lucky that women don't hate men enough to kill them back. Consider yourself lucky that we're not there yet. Consider yourself deeply lucky that women have not decided to assemble and reflect the oppression that's being enacted on us. Consider yourself lucky that women are still brainwashed enough to see a future where men are going to change. Oh, you think men are going to change? Oh, you think men are going to one day wake up and humanize you? Oh, babe, have I got news for you? Anyway, I'm going to wrap this episode up here because I'm sure you are feeling all sorts of mixed emotions listening to this. I'm sure some of you have got very tensed shoulders and tightened jaws listening to this because you feel really uncomfortable at the idea of me saying I hate men. You know that part of healing is actually accepting that you hate the person who harms you. That's part of taking your power back. You don't have to reenact the violence that was done onto you, but it's okay to say, you know what, I actually hate the person who felt like it was okay to do that to me. Part of loving yourself is being angry that someone felt like it was okay to treat you badly. That's part of the healing process. And if as a woman you don't allow yourself to be angry, you will never know true healing. You will never fully see yourself in the way you deserve to see yourself, because you're still holding on to this all-forgiving, benevolent version of yourself that men need you to be. Men benefit more from you being benevolent and forgiving than from you being angry and unforgiving. I am an unforgiving woman, and I am angry that we live in a world where we're more likely to die at the hands of a man than by mutated cancer cells or by a fucking car. So if you're an angry woman, if you're a mean woman, if you're an unforgiving woman, you should stand firm in that, because that's probably what's going to save your life. Because when you are mean and angry and unforgiving, you're less tolerant of men's tools and devices that they use to lure you into being in a position where they can actually harm you and possibly take your life. This is serious stuff. This is not what the feminists are covering in their syllabus. No, what they're covering in their little syllabus is, we need to see men as equal. We need to talk nicely to men. We need to bring them on board. Men are falling behind. Why are men falling behind? Because they're stupid and they're watching porn all the time. That's why. Men are falling behind. So what should I do about it? Let them fall behind now. If you fall behind, then you stay behind. I'm not going to stop in my tracks to help you catch up your pace. Stay there. Feminism is about urgency. Feminism is about, we don't have time to wait for men to become nice people. Feminism is about here and now, because that's all you've got. Because one day, a man might take your life and you'll just be another sad storyline, another sad headline, another sad article people share on their stories, another sad femicide statistic, and everyone moves on and goes back to talking about male loneliness and goes back to talking about what can we do to bring men into the conversation. We've done everything. It's all been said. Every idea that could possibly have been conjured, whether it's an academic idea, whether it's just a passing, fleeting thought, everything that could have been said has been said. They just don't want to do it. They don't care about changing anything. Accept that, make peace with that, and act accordingly. And on that note, I'm ending this episode. I don't know if you enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed this. It was very cathartic. But as always, if I still have you on board, take care, and I'll catch you in the next episode.